Welcome to Horror News Radio for August 15th, 2022. Join us for casting news for Lisa Frankenstein and the Pope's Exorcist, along with trailer news for The Menu. All this and more coming up next. I am your host, Doc Rodden, and this is H&R, the official Gruesome Magazine Horror News Podcast. Yes, I can speak. Back with me again this week are the scariest, goriest, and bloodiest co-hosts on the net. Starting off with Dave Dreher, lead news writer for Gruesome Magazine. Dave, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. I didn't even realize I worked for Gruesome Magazine.
Magazine?
Yeah, so it's nice to know. I'm gonna add that to my professional resume.
I'm just gonna make up words left and right. Yes, sir. All right. Also joining us is Vanessa, podcasting rock star and international cosplay queen. How you doing, Vanessa?
Wonderful. Bless you.
Sister Vanessa.
It's foretelling.
He's got religious all of a sudden.
No.
Not that kind.
Oh. There's 100 million jokes we can go for. I'm going to leave them all behind. All right. We have a lot of news for this week. We're going to jump into news for upcoming films. The first bit of news is I'm sure there are fans out there that are excited about this. We had one of our H&R staffers, Gruesome Magazine staffers, kind of give us a boo on it. But hey, I'm the optimistic one. But Lionsgate has set October 27th, 2023. That's right, next October, next Halloween, for the next installment of the Saw franchise. This will be the 10th Saw film. So we have that coming. This comes from Deadline. Kevin Greutert. Is that? I feel like the T should be silent now. Greutert, who directed Saw 6 and the final chapter, and edited 1 through 5, and the film Jigsaw. God, all these films. Will helm this latest installment. Now, of course, we got the film. Was it last year? Right, with Chris Rock. What do we think of this? What do you guys? Are you ready to have Saw return to the October theater?
Yeah, I don't. I was trying to remember the Chris Rock one, Spiral, and I honestly I don't remember what happened in it. I can't even remember if Tobin Bell was involved in any way, shape, or form.
It was a copycat.
Okay, yeah. So I couldn't rember. When this news broke, I was like, wow, what do I know? So I don't know if this is going to be a continuation of that new storyline, or if we're going to go back
wondering
and
that
Tobin
too.
Bell's going to be back at it again, or where we're. I mean, we have who was the guy that was that Constance Mandelar? Is that who it was?
Yeah,
he ain't worked since these things have been finished.
He might need work. So
I got a car payment due. Make another Saw movie.
They're keeping all those details close to the chest right now, but of course the Saw movies have made over $1 billion together, so it's definitely a profitable franchise. It'd be interesting to see if it still has some legs. Now we also know that the next Paranormal Activity movie is also dated for October. Now, what's interesting about that is Saw had October through the early aughts, right, into the teens, and then Paranormal Activity took it over, and now they're both coming out next October. So it's going to be a fight to the finish.
I just want to see like 2 Saws and an X for 10.
That's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. Will they call it Saw 10 or will it be Spiral 2?
I'm curious to know.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's very light on that, and I'm curious to know where it's gonna diverge.
Well,
I mean, John Kramer's dead, right? I mean, we know this. We've seen him gutted. They've cut his brain out. They've done. There's nothing left of this man. He is nothing. No. So it almost has to be a continuation of the Spiral.
It kind of has to, right? But will it be? I don't know. We'll find out.
Hard to say.
Next October.
Is it going to involve a slap? If Chris Rock is going to be slaps?
It might.
Will Smith is the Saw killer.
Will Smith. There you go. I think we're on to something now. Keep your hands off my fucking wife.
There'd be some justice in that, I think. All right, so we want to hear what you think down below. Leave us some comments in the section down below. Of course, if you like all the news that we're bringing, we want to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share with a friend. It all does some wonderful good for us, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much. But let's get on with the news. Dave, next we have some news about is it Richard Bachman? Is it Stephen King? You tell me, sir.
Well, Richard Bachman is Stephen King, and Stephen King is Richard Bachman. So, it's kind of all the same. Yeah, we got the news that the Bohemia Group is adapting The Regulators, which, comes on the heels almost 2 decades ago of them adapting Desperation, which Stephen King fans should remember were 2 companion pieces that came out simultaneously. Desperation under the Stephen King moniker and The Regulators under the Richard Bachman moniker, but both told stories of the same people, but like in alternate timelines. Desperation. I think Desperation was a made-for-TV movie. I know Mick Garris directed it and Ron Perlman starred in it. I don't remember it being theatrical, so I'm thinking it was like Mick Garris. He made a handful of those direct-to-TV, mini-series type things, and I believe that's how it was. I haven't seen it in ages, but I was saying in the pre-show, it's kind of weird because I had actually just reread Desperation a couple weeks ago, and had thought, I remembered, boy, The Regulators was a lot bloodier than this. Desperation was a little more suspense, a little more kind of crime type thing, where The Regulators was very much a blood-drenched, violent thing with this demon possessing all these different things and basically killing everything in sight. So it should be fun, but at the same time, I'm very curious to see if they make any attempt at all to tie it into Desperation.
Yeah, it was an ABC movie of the week.
There we go. Yeah, I knew it was something like that.
2006, yeah, 2006. It did get an R rating for overseas, so who knows what that was all about. But yes,
Ron Perlman. I remember the practical effects on Ron Perlman, because as this demon or entity or whatever it is, as it possesses him more and more, he just kind of starts actually kind of falling apart. And it's very bloody, and if you look it up online, there's this thing called the internet now. If you just type in Ron Perlman Desperation, I'm sure the pictures will come up.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
But Tom Skerritt was in it. Steven Weber, Annabeth Gish, Charles Durning, Matt Fuhrer, Henry Thomas, to name a few. So
quite the cast. And Mick Garris behind the camera. Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
So I read who was. Maybe I didn't. I was going to say, I think I read who was directing this one, but I think I'm thinking of something else.
You're thinking of something else. They haven't named a director yet, but George Cowan is adapting it for the big screen, which I think it's his first adaptation. So it would be
and I think if I remember right, I read too where Stephen King has kind of signed off on it. Apparently, he's seen the screenplay and gave it a thumbs up. So
nice. All right, I imagine as a Stephen King fan, the Stephen King fan among us, that you're excited about this.
I am, and I'm curious. More than anything else, I'm kind of curious to see what they try to do with it. I have a feeling they're going to try to tell it as a standalone tale. So that should be interesting.
Should be. All right. Other things that are coming out soon are the films that come out this week. So let's run through those real quick before we move on to casting news. Glorious is landing on Shudder this Thursday. That would be August 18th, 2022. We have a lot of things hitting either the theaters or streaming on Friday. It's going to be pretty crazy. Beast is hitting theaters. That's the film about the
Charlton Copley and oh my gosh,
exactly,
Idris Elba. Yeah, I was thinking of him from Thor on the running from a lion. Reminds me of Crawl a little bit.
It does. Orphan First Kill is landing in theaters and Paramount Plus, streaming on there the last night. So that'll be interesting. It's the prequel to the film 10 years ago or more about the 30-year-old who passes as a teen. I'm spoiling something that's over a decade old, but what are they going to do? Well, that'll be interesting. And then there's a film called The Immaculate Room that's hitting theaters and VOD. That's about a couple that decides they're going to be locked up in a room. It's a big white room for, I think, 30 days.
50
And
days
50
for $5
days.
million.
Yes, and of course it messes with their minds. So that'll be interesting to see. So let us know which one of those you're most looking for in the comments down below. All right, you guys ready to get into some casting news? Casting
Yes.
news. All right, we've talked about this already before. The Pope's Exorcist. We have more casting. This is coming up in the next year, and we know who the Pope is going to be. Cast as the Pope is the legendary actor, the Italian actor Franco Nero. He is perhaps perfect as being the Pope. I mean, I as soon as that was announced, I was like, yeah,
makes sense, right?
It makes sense. Other cast members are Laurel Marston. She's from Miss Marvel. Cornell S. John from Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, and newcomer Peter D'Souza Fahony, not Fahony, Fahony.
Was that Billy Finelli? Millie
Yeah,
Finelli.
Fern Gully, whatever. I don't know. The film is directed by Julius Avery, so it's going to be an interesting film, of course. Vanessa, you're a fan of Father Gabriel Amorth, right? Or at least from the documentary that we saw.
Yes, the lore of Father Amorth at this point, I'm a big fan of. He just was a cool dude, and I'm excited to. The casting seems really great for this. Somewhat unexpected with Russell Crowe as Father Amorth, but I'm excited to see it. I'm really interested to see how it's going to play out, and I just feel like it's really going to be horror leaning, and I'm excited to see that too.
Yeah, and of course he was a real exorcist for the Vatican, over 100,000 exorcisms in his lifetime. And if you saw that documentary, it really did touch on his life and his personality, and it was quite impressive. So I'm looking forward to this, even though it's going to be fictionalized, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Now, Franco Nero is probably best known to us Westerners as the spaghetti Western Django, right? And of course he did have a cameo in Django Unchained. Of course, it was the inspiration for that. I don't know if you remember when they walked into the bar and talked at the bar. But anyway, let's move on. Let us know what you think about The Pope's Exorcist down below. All right, the next news, Vanessa. This is a film. I love this title, Lisa Frankenstein. Tell us more.
Yes, I'm excited about this one, written by Diablo Cody. This casting news is Carla Gugino and more join the cast. Let me read you the synopsis really quick. 1989, an unpopular high school girl named Lisa accidentally reanimates a handsome Victorian corpse during a lightning storm and starts to rebuild him into the man of her dreams by using the broken tanning bed in her garage. How 80s is that? But yes, Carla Gugino, who we love, she's been in a bunch of stuff that we reviewed actually. Haunting of Bly Manor, just for one. And what I didn't mention earlier, for those of you who may not know, this is directorial debut of Zelda Williams, who is Robin Williams' daughter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of exciting that her and Diablo Cody are partnering on something like this together. I think we're going to see something really special and really funny. I think we're going to see some really, really great humor from the two of them. And you can't really go wrong when you're setting it in the 80s anyways, because it's just a fun time to set a horror movie in. And Cole Sprouse, he's our reanimated Victorian
handsome corpse
child of Frankenstein. Yeah, handsome corpse creation of Frankenstein. And I like that the Lisa Frankenstein, the character is the doctor character, not the Frankenhooker, more character.
Yes. I would imagine this is going to be a horror comedy. That sounds like it, right? Kind of a romantic horror comedy,
sounds
maybe.
Really fun.
All right. Okay. Well, Lisa Frankenstein. Are we looking forward to it, Dave?
Yeah. I mean, I think Diablo Cody needs something. She was kind of the golden girl there for a while, but that was like in the early 2000s, and she really hasn't. I mean, she's worked, but she hasn't done really anything big in the public eye. like, because what Juno and Jennifer's Body, I think, were like boom boom.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of vanished. She did stuff for HBO for a while.
Yep.
United
States of
United States
Tara,
of
which
Tara,
I like,
yeah.
yeah.
I remember what was the movie that where Meryl Streep was like a rock star. She was like an older rock star. Had Rick Springfield in it.
Oh,
Oh my God, I can't remember.
yeah.
But it was actually a
Oh.
really smart movie.
And she was involved with that? Oh my God.
Yeah, she wrote it. But it was real. I mean, from a writing standpoint, it was really smart.
Yeah.
But it did nothing because, who wants to see Meryl Streep, as a rock star?
Yeah,
Right?
as a rock star.
But it was really well written. But I'm kind of hoping that Ricky and the Flash. That's what it was called. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
Ricky and the Flash.
Ricky and the Flash. Yeah, if you get a chance, watch it. Well, yeah, I mean, watch it. It is. It's smart. It's fun. Yeah. But it looks like looking at her credits here now, she's got like a flurry of stuff going on all of a sudden here. She's got 3 or 4 things in pre-production, and it shows Lisa Frankenstein is filming. So it's a good thing. I think her voice is one we need to hear, and I agree.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be much like Jennifer's Body or Juno with that biting, sarcastic humor that put her on the mark, put her on everyone's radar. So go Diablo.
Yeah, and of course we like Catherine Newton from Freaked, right? Or Freaky, rather. Right?
Oh yeah, she was great.
So as Lisa Frankenstein, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well there you go. Some news for Lisa Frankenstein. Let us know what you think about that down below. Are you guys ready to talk about some trailers?
See it through his lens and at his level, it's gonna look so good. It's gonna feel so uncomfortable to watch these because there's just something
Nice.
about those practical effects that just really get you in a different way, and there's just a internal appreciation for what you're seeing as it's disgusting you, and I cannot wait. And I feel like we've been hearing about this for a long time, so I'm kind of excited it's finally come to fruition on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix needs it. I mean, Netflix needs
seriously.
Well, you say that, and it does because it's had some trouble, but it had a 1-2 punch here recently.
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
With Stranger Things, right?
Sandman's doing good.
And Sandman is really wonderful. So, and it's had a couple of interesting films come out that maybe haven't performed as high as they want them to, but I don't know. They both are actually fairly interesting. It'd be interesting to see. I think we have always enjoyed October on Netflix. They've given us good stuff. And there's other stuff that we're going to be talking about in the coming weeks, definitely, for sure. So let us know what you think about the Cabinet of Curiosities down below, and let us know maybe what director you are looking forward to the most. Are you guys ready to talk about Anna Taylor-Joy? Of course, we know Christopher should be here talking about it because
he's gonna pop out somewhere.
I know, right. So this is a movie called The Menu. It's coming in November. How often do we get a genre film in November? But Nicholas Hoult, of course, is in. Ray Fiennes, John Leguizamo, Judith Light, Hong Chow.
Yeah.
It's directed by Mark Millard. The synopsis is a young couple travel to a remote island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu. ... with shocking surprises. And if you watch the trailer, you'll see what we're talking about. What do you guys think? Did you guys expect this to be what The Menu would be about?
You go, Dave.
I'm actually watching the trailer for the first time while we're talking about it here.
Well, that's really
I'll go. It looks really good, and it's a very kind of high level Clue, because Clue is kind of set the standard for this horror comedy whodunit kind of thing, and this has that kind of feel to it, but while also poking fun at all the modernity that we have now. And I love that Judith Light is in it. That's just really cool.
Yeah, that's an interesting casting. Who would have thought Judith Light, right?
Yeah. Right. And of course, there are going to be some. I think it's a murder mystery, is it not?
Something.
It appears to be.
Yeah. It looks like it might be a little bit of,
hunting.
Oh, somebody wants to leave.
Never go to a restaurant where they have to lock you in.
Right.
Trust me, I've worked in food service for over 40 years.
I was gonna say,
you want to be out of there.
Because you worked in the food service, does this interest you?
I mean, I guess a little bit. It doesn't appear that I mean, Ray Fiennes appears to be playing the more classical chef. And these type of
A
chefs really don't
Ramsay.
exist. Yeah, they don't really exist too much anymore in today's market. I did like the blood stain across the front of his chef coat there while he's serving the
Yeah.
cake. So yeah, I think it's definitely gonna go more into psychological, you know, psychological horror per se.
We'll
Mhm.
see.
We haven't had anybody do really good culinary horror since Hannibal. So
Hannibal. I'm so glad you said that.
yeah, so we but it doesn't really allude if they're serving, if what they're cooking is what's on the menu is
or who
Yeah,
or
what's
coming.
on the menu?
yeah, exactly.
Who's
So
on the menu, right?
yeah, exactly. So,
People.
but I mean, you cannot argue with the pedigree of talent that they've assembled
Mm.
for this. So it's definitely worth our attention, if nothing else. And I don't understand the guy with the angel wings on the lines, and they dip him in the water.
It's
I don't
very
know. I don't know what
artistic.
that's all about.
Wasn't Ralph Fiennes in a Hannibal movie? Didn't he?
Yeah, he was in Red Dragon. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
Tie
yeah.
it all. Maybe he's just, tying it all in together,
Tying it all in,
wrapping it
tying it
all
all in.
up.
Well, he's certainly an exceptionally talented individual. So,
Yeah,
and of
and
course,
again, he hasn't done much of late.
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, he's
Right.
been very quiet.
has he?
So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well,
So
of
I
course,
mean,
we like
yeah, the English Patient, he was huge. I
Yeah,
mean, that
yeah,
Academy
yeah.
Award and all that. He's just kind of kicking back, going, "I don't have to do shit. I'm Ray Fiennes."
I mean, they had me at Nicholas Hoult and Anna Taylor-Joy, so I'm all on
Yeah.
board with this. I'm looking forward to it. November 18th is when it's coming out. It's one of the few things we'll be talking about that coming out in the theaters and in the late fall into the winter, because November and December is not the peak time for
Yeah.
horror
As
films.
that doesn't usually bode well.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving horror.
November
this
is the new January.
yeah, but this is a blend, right? It's a blend. So
Yeah.
all right, so let's move on. Now we love Shudder, right? And Shudder is bringing a lot of great content, and this one is interesting. They released this trailer for us this week, so let's take a look at it. It's a film from South Africa from Africa called Saloum, which is a mystical region in Senegal,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks like it's a kind of an action thriller, but it has some supernatural horror action in it as well. I'm interested in this because, as you know, I love seeing the foreign films and bringing other cultures and seeing other cultures
Mm-hmm.
and how they handle horror. And this one looks incredibly fascinating in that respect. What do you guys make of this particular trailer?
Oh, so good. A Senegalese horror. It's almost like a Quentin Tarantino-esque movie with all the titling they have at the bottom, the way that it's written,
Oh yeah,
and the
yeah.
way it's shot, and just the kind of the feeling, the vibe that it has that's given us. It really it feels cool. Like it feels like a cool movie to watch. Look, it says right there, really damn cool. And that's kind of what it feels like when you're really watching the trailer. And the fact that it's all in French, and you'll have to read it through these subtitles, I think is pretty interesting too. It keeps it more it feels really authentic, even as you're watching the trailer. But yeah, there's definitely a supernatural bent to it, and I'm kind of afraid because African horror is scary.
It has been, hasn't it? They've been doing some really good stuff. Of course, we
Yeah.
absolutely love Shudder. And we'll probably be talking about the 61 days of Halloween in the coming weeks, as they have recently announced this.
Is that movie
long list.
one of their 61 days?
No, this predates it. This is this month.
Okay.
This is coming out no, it's actually September 8th, so I think it might be.
Yeah,
the first
you're in
one
there. You're in
up.
that 61 days.
It's one of the 61 films. Yes, thank you. 61 days. So I'm looking forward to it. Of course, we'll be covering it here on Gruesome Magazine. We cover most, if not all, of the main films that Shudder puts out and enjoy a large percentage. It really, I mean, their track record is incredible. I mean, they rarely give us a stinker. Wouldn't you say so, Dave?
I don't know about that.
Oh no! What, Dave? What are you saying? You're supposed to back me up here.
I mean, they are definitely the largest purveyor of interesting horror films.
Well, that partnership they have with IFC Midnight, it can either
Yeah.
be really great, like what we just saw, or sometimes funnier.
They've had a stinker or two, but most of the time it's great. And of course, they also have all the other content. So anyway, there you go. Coming September 8th, 2022 on Shudder. It's Saloum. Am I pronouncing that right?
I think you are.
So, looks good.
All right. So leave us some comments down below what you think about. We have some feedback. Are you guys glad we have some feedback?
Yes,
Yeah.
we want feedback. Feed us the
Always.
feedback.
That means you're listening or
Feed
watching.
us the feedback. Yes. Sean Parks says, I'm excited about the return of Horror News Radio. And we appreciate that. Of course, Sean Parks is a great fan and listener. We've met him a couple of years back and before COVID and then after COVID in Georgia at the, what is brand now, Renegade Horror Film Festival. So great guy. So thank you, sir. Chad White says, great show. Looking forward for more episodes. Well, here you are.
Making them as you speak.
Let us know how we're doing. James Hudson says, glad to have the news back. And that's right. A little background on this. When we started this, Dave, 9 years ago, we did like a 2-3 hour show. And we would have,
they were marathons.
We had a whole segment. We did 2 reviews and news in every episode. And it went on forever. It felt like, but of course, with COVID, news became either too bleak because it was all about everything getting canceled and pushed back, or people dying, or we just didn't have news. And so we stopped doing the news at that time. And we just recently, with the season 2 of Horror News Radio, picked the news back up, and that's what we're concentrating on. And our reviews, if you're wondering where the reviews are, they're over at Gruesome Magazine. You'll be able to catch the theatrical films along with the streaming films over there. So check those out and let us know what you think of them. Bill Gabriel is, speaking of theatrical films, is looking forward to Pearl. He said Pearl is definitely a must-see.
Yeah, we covered that the first episode, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yep.
Pearl.
Now, I think it's a must-see. I think, Dave, you might be on the fence.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen X, so I don't really know what. This is a prequel to Pearl, right? So
yeah, Pearl's a prequel to X.
If I liked X, it would probably determine whether or not I'm excited for Pearl. So
I think for an A24 film, X is probably the closest one that's up your alley. And the rest it has a lot of Dave in it, so I think you will like it. I think
that's good.
Like
yes, yeah. It's no big secret that I'm not a real big fan of this new woke horror. Whatever you want to call it. What are they calling it? It's got a name. What's it?
Elevated is
elevated
one of the
horror.
terms.
Elevated. I'm from the Savini days. Just rip off a limb and beat somebody over the head with it. That's all I'm looking for.
You are very much so. All right. Well, we want to thank you for hanging out with us, the Gru Crew, and be sure to hit the like, the subscribe, and share with a friend. Every little click counts, so we greatly appreciate it. Be sure to check out the Patreon link below, and we'll be back next week with more. Between now and then, we'll have some reviews out there. We have 2 sets of podcasts, Gruesome Magazine and Decades of Horror. And throughout the week, we sprinkle in a whole bunch of reviews. We have Orphan First Kill coming out this week. The Innocents was another Shudder, along with Glorious, which is another Shudder. And Decades of Horror 1970s will have Star Crash.
Star Crash.
Do you guys remember? Do you remember Star Crash, Dave?
Yeah.
Carolyn Monroe. So,
Carolyn Monroe. How can you forget Star Crash?
So be sure to check those out. All right, guys. This was a lot of fun. I like doing the news again.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. Thank you for joining me, Sister Vanessa and Dr. Dave. Let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.